Yeah, you're right, man. There was no beat to that first one. Hey, but hey, we're back on another episode of Salient Points. This was number 87 for October 25th, 2022. I'm Carlos Macias, the master of what, Dalan?
The master of the Daily Planet, man. You over
The
here
Daily
newspaper
Planet.
it.
Ooh. Wait, isn't that what Superman was a part of, though? Was
Clark Kent. Yeah.
Clark Kent. See, I'll take it, man. All right. Carlos Macias, master of the Daily Planet, I suppose. Thank you for joining us here on this here fine program. We got Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Good to see you, sir. We haven't seen you in quite a bit of time.
It's been what, 2 weeks? I missed one episode. You're gonna throw me off like that?
It's only one.
Rough. It was rough though, man. We were like Dalan.
Percentage took a hit.
Yeah, your percentage definitely took, like your participation percentage definitely.
Hey
went
man,
down.
at this point with my life currently, my percentage is out the window. I'm not even gonna
Dalan,
concern
I
myself
don't
with that
know if
anymore.
you heard it last week, but we basically like threw you under the bus. He was like, we don't know when this man is coming back. We do not know. We do not know. But I will say this, Dan. Do you want to say kind of what's going on, Dalan, or no? Or just that you'll be on sometimes, you won't be on other times, right? Just
Basic just as I got a second job. That's all.
There you go. Hey, inflation.com, man. Dalan Kirkwood, thank you for joining us, and glad to have you this week. We're already bullshitting off the camera, man, off wax. So you're wilding out already, man.
You're welcome.
We also got the man who finally got rid of the body thanks to, that's a joke courtesy of Luis.
No.
Yeah, Luis said he finally got rid of the body back there. Thank you, Deo Blas. Thank you for joining us this week.
Yeah, they're just off camera. You can't really see it. We switched it around.
There's a lot going on over there, man. Thanks for joining us, of course.
Yeah, for sure, always.
The king of the mid.
Miss your own faces, this guy.
Okay. It's getting a little sappy around here. Real quick, Dale. I hear you went to like a concert over the weekend and like it got like washed out or something like that. That's whack.
Tried to. I went to that emo concert over in Las Vegas, and we got winded out. That's what happened. The wind gusted.
The wind blew you out of the stadium.
No,
in Vegas.
No, dude,
it's common, man.
Yeah, it was like windstorms and everything. So like there's
whack,
dust
man.
storms and everything. So they canceled the event for only Saturday, which was the first day of the When We Were Young concert. But the second day on Sunday and the third day, which is today, went swimmingly. So fantastic for them.
Were you only going to the first day then?
They only sold tickets for 1 day, like 1 day
At a
passes.
time.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
super whack,
which
man.
sucked. Yeah,
That's super
because
whack.
it was.
Did you at least get refunded or anything?
Yeah, we'll see. Like in 3 to 4 weeks. That's what they told us.
3 to 4 weeks.
Dude,
It's
I was pissed, man. That's the whole reason why we went out there.
Yeah, why do you go to Vegas? Well, there's a lot of things to do in Vegas. But Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel, thank you for joining us, sir.
What are you doing, Carlos?
I'm introducing the folks, Dalan, the folks to the folks.
I'm talking about in Vegas. Anyways, Luis, hi.
I don't know what to tell you, Dan. Luis, thank you for joining us. You are no longer in between jobs. Can we say that, Luis? You don't have to dox yourself. You can say,
We talked about it, I think,
Okay.
but no, I signed my offer letter from NVIDIA on Friday, so
The
Well,
prestigious
good to
company of
Congratulations.
That's who's sponsoring us. I think that's who's sponsoring us.
sponsoring my computer right now.
No,
sir.
there you go. Well, congratulations on that, sir. We'll get right into it, man. In the last couple of weeks, actually, something really funny happened. Right, this is kind of one of the big things. If you guys are kind of on the internet, well, don't be like Dalan. Dalan uses the internet. He's not on the internet. But if you were on the internet, Dalan, you would have figured out that God of War Ragnarok leaks are just popping out left and right, and all this is apparently due. We didn't get super confirmation on this, but I think there's a guy, like if you're on your PlayStation and you're playing a game, you can share it and it uploads to Twitter or whatever it is.
Yeah,
so
he
this
messed
man
up.
that had an early code,
Wow.
right, said, I forgot to unlink my Twitter or whatever it was, and like, here you go, please to enjoy. And apparently there's clips of this man just going, hell yeah. So
I didn't watch the clips, but I was aware of this.
so we'll let Dalan gather his thoughts on that real quick. But Luis, what are you thinking about this, man? This little situation here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a reviewer or anything, but I don't have that auto share thing on for a reason, because sometimes you just, sometimes you don't want to put it on Twitter.
No.
But I would hope that if you're in that position, you got an early copy, that's something you would kind of be mindful of.
Yeah.
But I guess the silver lining there is that he does seem to be enjoying the game. Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! So I mean,
yeah, it's really weird, right? And yeah, you would think that it's like you'd have because they do give you like when you get some review codes, sometimes they will give you kind of like a list of things like, okay, don't talk about this, only talk about this during this certain, this time or whatever. It's kind of part of the embargo agreement. Yeah, this is definitely out the window. This man said, no, man, I'm just gonna get into it right now. Jeff Keighley tweeted about it. That means I'm ready too. Dalan, what do you think, man? Are you on Blackout? You're not looking at it.
And I am on Blackout for God of War, but I knew that this happened. I was wondering what you guys were talking about over the week when my phone chat was just blowing up. But yes, just knowing that it happened is hilarious, and you do not want to be caught in such a compromised position, especially when you're auto-uploading things. You don't know what you're gonna say.
Look, you feel bad for the guy. You do feel bad for the guy, especially. But you know what? I will say, half the time this shit don't work for me. I clip like a video and it says upload film. Like whatever. I guess this is just for my box here. It doesn't matter, right? So
the only question that I had in my mind when I found out this happened is he going to have repercussions against him, knowing that it was an accident? I mean, can they prove he did it on accident?
I'm pretty. I mean,
What, his dog uploaded it by accident?
Yeah, his dog uploaded. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for the guy. I hope it's one of those things. Look, hey man, make sure you're doing okay right now. But we'll see. We'll find out. We did. They did
make sure
mention.
You got money.
Make sure you got, okay, Dalan. Damn, I'm gonna get into some
if
lawsuits
they
or
sue
something.
him, he's gonna be like, I don't
know if it'll go that far, man. But I think there'll definitely be a talking to. I heard this earlier on NBA TV. They said they probably have had elevated talks. They've had elevated talks about what's going on with this man's Twitter. They did mention, the developers mentioned that this game will have graphical settings, and this is a big deal because we talked about it last week how Gotham Knights is like locked at 30, no options. But what, Dalan?
I accidentally said clap, but that's not the one I was looking
reasonable.
For. Capped. It was capped.
Yes,
correct.
So they did say that this game is going to have graphical setting options. There's going to be 120 frames per second performance mode. What is it, 4K 30, 60 frames locked performance mode, 4K 40. So it's going to have some options here. Dalan, you seem like the only one that wanted to comment on this. What are you going for here, Dalan, as far as what mode are you going in?
I'm going for the mode of shut up and take my money. That's what I'm going for. Just give me the game. Right. I'm glad that it's got 4K, 60 frames, whatever. Yeah. I will see if it'll play in 4K, but every time I switch a game from 60 FPS to 4K, my frames, it's not even 30 frames. It'll start dropping frames like crazy. So I'm not even sure I want to do that.
Well, I know
I will look at it for a couple of seconds in 4K and they'll be like, that's beautiful. All right, let me switch it back.
We talked about it last week, Dalan. I go for the full-on graphics, ray tracing, all this stuff. I know it's jittery and I know it's not super smooth, but that's my first option. Then when I go for them trophies, give me that 120 frames, please. Just give me all the fastness.
You're not going to have that frame rate drop on PC. When are you going to be a part of that crew, Carlos?
Come on, Dalan. What are we doing here, man? The next thing, many people out there, if you pre-ordered Modern Warfare 2, got a pre-order access. I kind of was like, you know what? I'm plunking down the cash. I know do you remember what the last percentage was, Lise? That I was like, I'm at this percent.
You said like 85 or something.
Apparently I was 100%, man, because I went ahead and grabbed that shit.
The game killed the boss, and that was the end of the game. I was like, oh.
So I'll try not to keep, I'll just say some quick things, and then I'll talk about it and what you've been playing. But real quick, Dalan, this one's for you. The graphics are in this game. They didn't forget to put the graphics in, Dalan, for this game, all right? It looks incredible. The graphics, the water graphics especially. I know there was talks over the weekend about like, this is amazing. Amsterdam looks amazing, and it does. And I know one of the person was commenting like, oh, imagine if you didn't have to shoot around in this. I'm like, motherfucker, enjoy it. You don't shoot around in it. Walk around, enjoy the city, and that level. By the way,
do what you want.
Yeah,
play how you want to play.
But it's always like a little agenda, right? It's always like it's a shooter and it's Call of Duty and it's a big game and blah blah blah. Like I even saw some of the stuff. I think it was Kotaku and IGN. It's like it plays amazing, but it's kind of boring or whatever. It's like it's pretty damn good. But like I said, I'll talk about it and what you've been playing. I like the cohesive story. It's set in Mexico, so I like that. There's a lot of back and forth in Mexico and around the world. Go ahead, Dalan, please.
Yeah, I just want to say, for the guy that wants to walk around, if you don't want to play that way, don't play that way.
True. Okay, damn, a little Jordan quote. But I did beat the game. It was about 7.5, 8 hours long. Plenty. I'll talk about it some more on what you've been playing, but it's a good game.
I
man.
feel like you just
like
talked about the whole thing right now.
I got some more shit to say, man. If you guys want, head to the end of the show, and I'll talk about it some more there. But we'll move on to another quick point that they did mention. As far as the Call of Duty devs, they said they're going to introduce multiplayer raids for special ops modes in December. Dalan, you got to pick up this game for these quote-unquote raids. We've heard developers refer to raids before, though, right? Like the Division, like, we have raids.
I was
and
about
like,
to say the Division. That was the first one that came to mind when I saw raids.
And it makes you
game.
think Destiny, but nothing touches Destiny on raids, man. But what do you think, man? Do they give us a Destiny raid? Probably not.
No, I feel like they're going to be going the same route as Division, but in this case, first-person mode rather than third-person mode. They're going to give you something really big to try and kill, and it's going to take you forever to do so, and you're just going to keep dying because you're going to get shot by tanks all day. That's all.
I'm down, man. I'm down. Luis, what do you think, man? You getting down? You're picking this up, right? We're going to get down with this mode.
Yeah, I'm getting this game. I'm most likely getting it for PC, but I mean, it's cross-compatible anyway. You could play it anyway.
Because he doesn't want to lose his frames, that's why.
Hey,
No, it's just because I want to use a mouse and keyboard. That's really it. But
sure
I don't think...
You sure you don't want aim assist like our homie Prue? He's part of the PC.
He
gaming
needs his
crowd.
aim assist. Yeah.
And this man Prue is like, no, I'm gonna hook up a controller to my PC because I need the aim assist. But my bad, Luis. I kind of interrupted you there.
No, I don't need the aim assist. I prefer mouse and keyboard. But what I think about this raid special ops mode thing is that nobody's gonna play it. That's what I think is gonna happen with it, because that's what happened with the last one. I think the main reason that one, Modern Warfare. The one that came before that. They had a special ops mode.
They've had these type of modes. They've had these type of modes, Dalan. But
the problem with that, and the funny thing with that, because Jim Ryan's out there pleading his nuts off right now, is that was a PlayStation exclusive for a year, the special ops mode, and I think that was the reason nobody played it, because even though it was cross-play, there was two-thirds of the market out there that couldn't play it for a whole year. So I think that kind of threw that under the water, the bus, the bridge, whatever you want to call it. And I think the same thing's going to happen with this one, is that maybe people just aren't going to check it out because they got Warzone and Search and just regular team deathmatch to play.
It was also terrible and not fun.
No, they were pretty good, man. People just weren't in them. Luis, they wasn't crossplay, was it? The originals? You sure they were crossplay? Or are you talking about
I mean original Modern Warfare 2019. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got you. All right, yeah. So it's crossplay. It's kind of like everyone play against each other, right? So I'm hyped, man. Whenever you grab it, if it's crossplay, let's get down with it. Dalan, you're not invited, all right, man. You don't like.
I gotta say, no. I remember when it came to special ops, it was one of those things you got to know what you're doing. And I'm gonna drop his name right now. Abel, when he was playing with us, he would go sit on top of a tower and say, "Go do that thing," and I'll watch you guys from here. In case you guys die, at least I'll be alive.
He still does that, Dalan, to this day.
I know.
All right?
I know.
He's providing Overwatch. That's what it is. It's strategy.
Speaking of Mr. Jim Ryan, this was not specifically according to him, but according to or regarding everything that's been going on with Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft did say that Call of Duty is kind of restricted to not go on Game Pass, and that's for a number of years. Phil Spencer in the footnote to kind of this whole deal trying to, this whole Activision Blizzard trying to get that going. He said, quote, "The agreement between Activision Blizzard and Sony includes restrictions on the ability of Activision Blizzard to place Call of Duty titles on Game Pass for a number of years." So Sony is really kind of just trying to push off the inevitable, right? Because they already have deals in place, right? They already have like we're gonna have this game on our system for a while, right? But it's kind of one of those things like we don't even want it to get to that point. Dale, you put LOL on here, but do you have kind of a little more to say than LOL? As
no, I just
wacky.
I did. That's the first time I heard it. But I think it's funny that it's like Jim Ryan just fighting for his life out there. Trying to not trying to save his bacon or whatever with all these deals. But you're right. It's delaying the inevitable. It's going to happen eventually. And I think it's crazy that he fights business wise about like these exclusivity deals and how it's going to kill his company when in fact like he has all of this stuff set up for years, like with Silent Hill, the Silent
Oh,
Hill
that's
2
right.
remake and all
Yeah,
this other
those are
stuff. So
exclusives, right? Yeah.
yep, yep.
It's really, yeah, it's like we say on this podcast, it's really wacky, right? Because that's one of the things, they're pushing off the inevitable, and it's kind of like, but there has been some interesting pushback as far as the regulators, right? They'd be like, well, look, it does seem like it's monopolistic, and then I like how Microsoft comes out and they're like, wait, but we're like in third place, bro. Like, and they kind of make a whole case for it, right? Like, they're like, we're really in third place. Nintendo's good, PlayStation's good. Look what they have. We don't have shit. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's and you know what? They even docked Sony in one of the documents that came out recently. Like, yeah, Sony has Spider-Man 2. They have Wolverine in 2023, and people are like, wait, Sony hadn't announced that it was coming out in 2023. Yeah, Microsoft this year's like, Wolverine's coming out next year. So can we get this deal through? Dalan, before we kind of move on, well, I don't know if Lisa has a thought on this, but Dalan, kind of, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, it's the same thought pretty much across the board. They're putting a band-aid on a broken arm. They're not. They're just waiting for it to really. They're waiting for the shoe, the other shoe to drop. All right, that's what it is.
What, now that the shoe's on the other table that's turned, or what, Dalan? How many more can you say?
That's what I'm talking about.
How many more?
Hey man, power to the players. Power to the players until they take the power from you, dude. That's what it is.
To hit the fan, it's all gonna happen. All right.
Hey, or a Luis classic, right? You always gotta consent to have fun, right? Every time you pop up a game, you always gotta consent to have fun. Dude, that shit popped up like while I was playing Call of Duty, the campaign. I was like, what is this? Like 20 documents of like, I'll accept to have fun. I will have fun now.
Wait until you play online, dude. There's a don't be an asshole agreement. You gotta check like 4 boxes off. Like don't do hate speech. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but I don't, right? Like, that's just they're wilding out there. But, yeah, anything else on this kind of thing? This is like wrinkles on wrinkles on wrinkles, right? There's not a lot is happening, but there's little kind of interesting things that pop up, right? Like, so often, like the other thing, and this is kind of not exactly as far as the deal is concerned, but I know, like, even Microsoft is kind of already playing nice. They announced that Fallout 4 is going to get a next-gen update for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 next year. It's going to get a performance mode and quality features for 4K. So they're kind of already like proving like, hey, the Fallout 4 is like, we don't need to be nice. We don't need to give them an upgrade, but we're going to give it to PlayStation 5 as well. So that's coming out next year. The next thing we have on here is, actually, you guys put no on this, but I guess there was a quick thing then that the speaker might be holding back Series X games. Jeff Gerstmann, I know, tweeted, he said the whole Series S is holding back next-gen games. Argument seems really broken to me. Most of these games also come to PC and already have to cover a wide variety of configs. Like, go look at Steam hardware survey. Sometimes lots of older stuff with significant percentages. And I know there was a VFX artist that kind of talked about like they're kind of petitioning to get the Series S launch requirements dropped. And I know you'd be a little interested in this deal, but one of the reasons that, well, they try to blame it on everything, right? They've been blaming it for a while, but one of the reasons that Halo Infinite might not be working as well as it could be is potentially that they got to make it work on an S. Do you buy that, Dale? Do you buy that? It's like, we're trying to make it work on the S, damn it. That's why it's so broken.
I don't think so. No. No.
No, that's a good one.
I don't think so.
They could have just made the S work the same as the X, but without the drive.
Isn't that
They
the whole
had no
architecture?
reason.
It's the same.
That was it.
It's the same thing, right? With the exception of like maybe a few, lower performing components. It's pretty much the same kind of architecture, so it should work in theory. Or the scalability of, whatever these titles are, like Halo Infinite, it should have worked because Halo Infinite runs on like potato PCs out there too. So it might be plus or minus depending on how you.
So I mean, it could be like Luis, I don't know what you call it. I don't know the technical lingo for it. But could it be like that they just have to work harder to make it work for the S, right? That they're like, oh, we have to work so hard to kind of cram it down to this S architecture.
Yeah, you're probably looking for optimization.
There you go. Thank you.
But I know I didn't fill this one out just because I looked over it or skipped over it. I mean, but I have to imagine they're not, because I haven't worked with this hardware. I've only worked with the PlayStation 4. That's like the closest I've gotten to any sort of console, and that was kind of a pain. Like to get this thing to run on PC with Oculus and Vive, but then trying to get it to run on PSVR, that was like a whole holy crap. Like, how are we going to get this to happen? And we were such a small team, we weren't prepared for it. You know, it was only like 10 of us max. So with a team like this at Microsoft, I would hope that you kind of have the time to wrap your head around it, but I don't know what their production cycle is like, so I have no idea if they even have time to like kind of slow down and make things run but look nice. So I have to imagine they're not sort of just bringing that, like pulling that out of their asses, of like the Xbox Series S or is the one that's sort of slowing down the development. So
yeah, and you know, one of the things that the artist says is that, you know, he says, quote, studios have been through one development cycle where Series S turned out to be an albatross around the neck of production, and now that games are firmly being developed with new consoles in mind, teams do not want to repeat the process. So it's kind of one of those things like, okay, a little developer action here, kind of bringing out the smoke. I know why Dalan's not happy about this, because Dalan's got the speaker. Dan's got the speaker. You don't want to hear this shit. You don't want to hear this crap. It's like, what do you mean these games aren't going to work?
Hey, man, I dropped my money.
How about this, Dan? Is it concerning that developers like, we don't want to develop for the S that Dalan has under his TV?
They're just gonna have to end up backscaling some of it anyway. So they're gonna be pleasantly disappointed in themselves when Microsoft says, no, we released this system, we don't want to lose money on it.
That's true. And look, this thing, you also hear stories on the internet about how like it's a small enough like form factor that actually no, I think we can dock some, right, Luis? The homie Samir, our friend Samir, he owns some kind of hotels out there, motels, and he says that parents bring a Series S because it's small enough to like they travel with it with their kids to, you know, wherever they're going to different hotels, and they're like, this is small enough to, here you go, here's the Series S that you travel with, and it's cute. It's a cute little box you got under your TV.
It's cute.
It's a cute TV. We'll move on to the next thing here. As far as quick takes are concerned, the Resident Evil 4 remake did get announced. We got a nice little trailer for that. Some of the quotes that are coming out of that, for example, Eurogamer said there's quote unquote barely any QTEs. Leon can crouch now apparently, and this game's coming out March 24th. Dale, let's go with you, man. What do you think? Did you get a chance to kind of look at the trailer?
I'm the rubbing hands gif. Oh my god, dude! Like
he said, "Shut up and take my money." That's what he's saying.
That's what I said. If I had a boner for the Silent Hill thing, I have a double boner or whatever for this thing, because RE4 remake looks amazing. That's the only thing I saw of it. Just that one trailer that's like 6 minutes long or something. But it's so vastly improved, like graphically, it's blowing things out of the water, and it's all using the same engine from the RE Village game. So yeah.
But Dale, I am concerned about your anatomy. But anyways,
the double.
Let him have a double boner if he wants.
Hey, why can't I have double boners, man?
Hey,
he's out there walking around like a python. All right.
Now, Dale, are you? So some of the talk out there is that it's kind of for the most part, it's kind of like a mostly 1-to-1. But I feel it's like the most recent modern of the quote unquote old Resident Evils, though, right? Like with 2 and 3, yes, you can have freedom or like, let's make it beautiful. But 4 is still pretty good, right? It could use some.
I wouldn't say it's 1-to-1, because if you see the trailer, like that first area that you normally fight in from the original RE4, you're in like the basement instead of like on the first level of it. So they're completely building like these whole different kinds of buildings all set up. The village portion where you finally get into the thick of the village in the first part of the game, that's almost the same. But I don't think with Leon's capabilities that they could make it 1-to-1. Yeah. Also, he has different moves, and they changed the
crouch.
Yeah, he can crouch, which is helpful.
But he jump. All right. Is a jump button.
Yeah, and there's this whole controversy about like one of the dogs that you save out of a bear trap is you can't save them anymore, unfortunately.
What?
Yeah, there's gonna be there's a ton of stuff, dude. There's a ton of stuff. Ashley's big old satellite ears are like reduced by like her hair and everything like that. Ada Wong looks Asian now.
Okay,
because she is, but all right.
No, she actually looks it now, is what he's saying.
She looks it now, and people are pissed. People are pissed that she looks like a Chinese woman now. It's crazy.
There's really weird things where people remember things differently, right? Because I think even for the little girl, was her name Ashley, the little girl he's like, they covered her up this time, and someone was like, literally, this is the picture of her back in Resident Evil 4. She was already covered up. I don't know what you're talking about.
She was fully covered up. She had the yellow overcoat, or she had the yellow sword. She was looking like a prep schoolgirl.
So I do like that though, Dale. It's like you were able to kind of differentiate. Like this is gonna be nice. It's gonna feel fresh. Right.
Yeah, because I downloaded the RE HD project for a PC. It was a mod that like these modders had to update the resolution and some of the graphics in RE4 it's not an official release, but Capcom's not, deleting any files or anybody's accounts, and it looked fantastic. Still plays fantastic. So they don't have to do too much, and I hope they don't screw around with the story too much because most of it is okay. It's cringe what the dialogue between Leon and Ashley, so they need to change some of that. But overall,
a
it's
man
okay.
sat down at a toilet for a week or two, and he just kind of here's the story. Here's the Resident Evil story. So the legend tells it.
The legend proceeds.
According to Dalan.
According to Dalan. All right. So
and then I'm over here thinking about the fact that like the game came out before some of the people that are playing it now were even born. So I was like,
oh yeah,
that's a crazy thing. So
is that true, Dalan? It came out in 2004, 2005.
Yes.
05.
We're in 2022, Carlos. The year of Lord.
They're not old enough. They're not in the year.
Hey, man.
But they're going to play it. That's not going to stop them.
Stop. How old were you when you played Resident Evil, good sir?
I'm thinking, man, probably like 15,
all right.
14, 15. The original was like 8 or 9. the original was 8 or 9.
My point given.
Okay. Reasonable. So at the very least, they're doing things that are gonna keep it fresh, right? And if they kind of mess with the mechanics a little bit, they have to change some of the encounters, right?
They're just modernizing it. That's like what they did with RE2. Like RE2 back in like the PlayStation 1 N64 era. That was like, I mean, back in the day it was great, but like now it's really tough to go back and play that game with all the quality of life features that's been going on in modern gaming these days.
So it was new couch.
You know, as much as I complain about these games being remade and re-released, I think it actually is. It may be a good idea for some of these companies to remake these games just for the new era, even if it's not for us, people who play the originals and have the nostalgia about how great the game was, even though it probably looked terrible back then and the voice acting was way the hell off. But
now, Dalan, I will say that
Jill Sandwich.
Dalan, that's fine that you say that, right? That I like that they're remaking new games. You know what? They're not remaking Prince of Persia, man. That shit is vaporware. That is not coming out. That is not coming out. Dalan, before we move on from Resident Evil 4, specifically the remake, anything else that you kind of saw or got a glimpse from it, or you just hyped? March 24th, man.
You gonna be hyped, Dale? Are you hyped?
He said his piece,
dude,
man. Leave this man
I
alone.
pre-ordered.
He said his piece.
I pre-ordered the collector's edition, and I don't normally do that for RE games, but I definitely dropped down to $250 for that thing.
Does it come with the game? Look at the fine print.
It do.
Okay,
it definitely do.
I like that it do. Next thing, Village. Resident Evil. Speaking of Resident Evil Village, that's getting a third-person mode. They did put the demo of it out there. I didn't get a chance to try that out.
I thought it already got released.
No, well, Village did come out, but the third.
No, I'm talking about the third-person mode. I thought it came out.
No, I think there was a trial though. There was definitely kind of a.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
And they did, people as they do. They talked about if there's plans for Resident Evil Code Veronica, a remake, and the producer Yoshiaki Hirabayashi, he said, "quote If the opportunity comes, maybe." End quote. So we don't know. I'm assuming this thing Resident Evil 4 has to sell gangbusters, right, for them to kind of consider it, right? Dale, what do you think, man? You've been waiting on this Resident Evil Code Veronica?
Dude, like the Resident Evil Code Veronica is like the redheaded stepchild of the RE games. Like they love remaking all the other games, even the Revelation series, and porting that other Revelatons over to like
original release.
Revelatons. Oh my god, that's collectible, by the way.
That.
If you find,
it.
Do you have it?
It says
Dude,
Revelation.
That's the only reason I even knew it existed.
But yeah, like Code Veronica is it's the campiest Resident Evil out of all of them, because it has like the dumb looking Leonardo DiCaprio character and all this other weird twin syndrome thing going on. But it's like one of the most endearing ones because you play as Claire, and she gets like a legit role in this one. And there were some interesting monsters that you get to fight in it that are totally unique to the series compared to the rest of the REV universe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sad that they just don't care about it too much. I
and
know
also,
it was one of my favorite games for the Dreamcast.
That's what I was gonna
They
say.
did end up re-releasing it though. I just couldn't get through it.
Resident Evil
on the PS2. Yeah.
Yeah, I got halfway through the game because you're supposed to go like all the way into the prison, and then you're supposed to get out of the prison. On your way out, you've done everything, so everything's blocked off. I was like, where the hell do I go?
Yeah, and you did bring up a key thing there, Deo. It came out on the Dreamcast originally, man, and that close. We hold that system near and dear to our hearts. Dalan, anything else?
We hold that self-evident.
You really wanted to bring up Reverse, right, Dalan? I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up the fact that they may actually finally be releasing Reverse, just as a Resident Evil thing. So there's the beta that's currently up. And we're talking about this being Tuesday, the last day that you can actually play this. Hey,
I haven't
you better
seen
go
anything
download
about
it.
it.
It's free right now.
There you go.
Hey, go get the beta. We can play it online tonight.
There you go. Did they switch up the graphics then? The cartoony cel-shaded graphics? Or
I haven't had a chance to actually try it. I'm going to be doing that as soon as I'm
we'll
done
get
here.
your impressions of that, I'm sure, next week. Maybe you and Dale will have played it. Maybe I participate. I don't know. Ask me after, all right? Ask me after. Next thing on here that we have is that Gotham Knights. I don't know if you guys have seen, but some of the reviews are kind of disappointing. This is according.
Hateful.
This is
It's
according.
hateful.
This is according to Axios Steven Totillo. He said it's disappointing, and he also said it's basically Destiny, but in Gotham. Now, I will say this, Dalan. It kind of interests me, man, when somebody says it's like Destiny. Because I don't know if you remember, but when Destiny originally came out, like, it didn't necessarily
attempt for Destiny killers.
But it didn't necessarily get like the greatest reviews. It might have gotten like 7.5, 8s, like the original Destiny 2014 Vaseline all over the screen on PS3 version. It got some disappointing reviews. I don't know if this will grow to that point. I mean, I don't think this is like their grand hope and scheme of this game, but I'm kind of interested. We're gonna rent it, right, Dalan? We're gonna get rented and play co-op, right?
Yes, that's my intent.
Now,
because it's Batman.
Now, what does this say? Does it make you more hyped, or it kind of tempers your expectations when we eventually do play it?
Wait, you're talking about the fact that many people were disappointed in it and it got terrible reviews and it's kind of like Destiny when it first came out? No, that doesn't make me want to play.
What the fuck is that, dude?
Why do you have to?
You're almost saying because you're like you're gonna talk it down all the way to the floor and be like, "Are you hyped?" No, not anymore. Thanks, Carlos.
I said
back in your face, Carlos.
Look, now I see what you did. Now that you explained the joke, Dalan. Now that you explained the joke, I said, does it temper your expectations, man? Damn, give me a little credit here. Elise.
I'm gonna stop and actually say my piece. No, it doesn't temper my expectations because I already had found out that it was capped at that 30 frames per second. The only thing I'm concerned about is whether or not they even did the story justice in any kind of way, because I know they did that whole side comic book 5 edition thing, but I'll see.
Spoiler alert, Dalan, you did say, like, of course you love Batman. Batman is not in this, and they actually
he's dead, man.
They actively said that he's not in it.
He did.
Hey, this kind of makes it. This kind of takes Batman Beyond out of the picture, so there's no more Batman Beyond with this being canon, if that's the case. But it's a WB game. I have no faith in a straight up WB game.
Rocksteady, man. Hey, it's Rocksteady.
What?
Rocksteady. It's a WB Games game.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn. Luis, get us out of this area here, out of this topic. What do you think, man? You playing with that?
I mean, that's what mostly I've been hearing, unfortunately, is that people didn't live up to the expectations that people had for this. And that's aside of the point from the frame rate cap that got so much like heat last week. Yeah. I think just in general, I've been hearing from people that it's not what they were hoping it could be. Not that it's a terrible game or anything, but that it didn't sort of meet that hype meter, I guess.
Yeah, and that's besides the performance, right? Besides the
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
The movie was called The Joker. Don't get mad because Batman's not in it.
That's not what I said, but that's fine.
What the hell's happening, Dalan? All right, Nick, this is for you, Dalan.
I'm surprised you didn't repeat the whole question again.
There was a whole thing where the Joker movie came out, the one with Joaquin Phoenix, and somebody had gone to the movies upset saying Batman wasn't even in this movie. Yeah, We know.
Hey, fool you once, that's shame on them. Fool you twice, that's shame on that man when he goes to see the sequel and it's like, where's Batman? Where's Batman? And why is this a musical? And why is this a musical? He's gonna be really upset. Dude.
Why is it a musical?
What's happening? DC, oh my god.
Yeah, they're out of control, but I'm hyped about that musical, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for a joke.
You hyped about Black Adam? How about Black Adam? What's that, fellas?
Hey, shattered box opening records, dude.
That's true. I'm happy about that.
Wait, it shattered box opening records?
Yeah, they made a whole bunch of money. It might not.
That I heard it was. Hey man, all the reviews I saw said it was the worst DC film that ever.
But that's not what we're talking about, Dalan.
But
It shattered.
It made money.
It made money, yeah. But it's a terrible movie.
It is what it is. All right, they'll
terrible things just like Gotham Knights can make money too, Dalan.
There you go. Hey, as far as
just like Suicide Squad, let's go.
As far as that's concerned, they'll fix it in post. In the sequel to Black Adam, they'll fix it in post. All right, they'll clean it up. They've done it a couple of times.
What are you doing?
Next thing we have on here is Callisto Protocol. Coming off of this news that Gotham Knights is only 30 frames per second. Callisto Protocol said, we will have a 60... Well, what did they say? We would love to inform you all that we will be shipping globally on December 2nd. And yes, we'll have a 60 frames per second performance mode. So that's kind of an obvious dig at like Gotham Knights, where it's like, hey, we got you. Don't even trip. Dalan, does Callisto Protocol got you? Feel free to repeat the question, Dalan. Feel free, verbatim, to repeat the question, please.
Does Callisto Protocol got you? Yes, it does. I've been waiting for this game since it was announced, and I'm still waiting for this game, along with the remake of Dead Space. So just bring them on. Once again, take my money.
Just give it to me. Just give it to me. Just shoot it over here this way. Elise, what do you think? This thing's gone gold, man. So I'm happy to hear that things have gone gold, right? Because for the longest time, you hear like, another 6 months, we got to clean this shit up.
Hey, Gotham Knights could use a little more time in the oven. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's good news. I saw one of my friends that worked on it. He's a sound designer, worked on it and posted it on his LinkedIn, like gone gold. So it's good to see the things that people like good friends kind of have projects that are shipping out there. But that's just unnecessary, dude. Especially with the timing, it was like immediately right after the Gotham Knights thing. As a developer, you don't want to be doing that kind of stuff, dude. You kind of want to be lifting each other up and stuff. And there's just no reason to go out there and hey, that game that has nothing to do with us, we have 60 frames per second. We got you. So I'm kind of hoping, a little part of me hopes that this turns into like an Apple Samsung situation where they come out here and make commercials and we still have a headphone jack, and then fast forward 2 years and it's like they quietly just say that, don't say anything about it. So I'm hoping that this game, just a little tiny part, 5% of me hopes that maybe it's just like a shitty story or something. It was like, okay, your shitty story runs at 60 frames per second.
Hey, Liz, part of you.
The salt.
Hey, Luis, part of me is like, I hope there's like a 20-minute section where that shit's just boring. Nothing happens. And people can't stop talking about that.
Yeah.
Look, we like to smoke that way because there's as gamers, right? Like, yeah, I love it. But I like your smoke too, man. That's a nice little perspective to have because it's true, right? It's like, why say anything? Imagine the Gotham Knight.
This is unnecessary.
Imagine the Gotham Knight producer or whatever, the director's like, what the fuck? What? Huh? Why did what the fuck is this? Just comes across their timeline. What the fuck? Okay, Callisto. If that's even your real name? We got on here. The next thing, of course, is Silent Hill. There was an October 2022 showcase. Deo did mention it a little bit earlier, right? But Silent Hill 2 Remake is coming out for PS5 and PC. So it's missing a certain system on their Xbox by Bloober Team, who actually made the Medium. Decent game. My review's up there on We.Got.coms. I kind of dug it. They're going to be using the Unreal Engine 5. No loading screens. It's going to have an over-the-shoulder camera. And it's going to be modernized gameplay, which I kind of like because if you guys go back and play Silent Hill, it's really rough, man. It's not a nice ride. But you're hyped, Dale, I'm assuming, for Silent Hill 2.
I am. Silent Hill 2 is my favorite horror game of all time, I would say, until Resident Evil 2, the remake, came out. But yeah, that genre of games is so crazy to me that they're giving it a shot. It's crazy to me that Konami is doing something. That's what
They're
not
doing
just-
anything.
and not just their
they're doing
pachinko,
something.
not just their
I don't know
pachinko.
what.
Metal
You're right.
Gear
I don't know what
fiasco.
exactly. I don't know what herbal tea they've been drinking lately, but they're coming out with this. They're also having a bunch of other stuff come out. But the Silent Hill games, like that's the one franchise that I'm like, damn, I'm so glad they're doing something. They're releasing like 3 games and like a movie, and there's a bunch of other crap going along with it. So they have a whole junket going along with their
They
Silent
really
Hill.
need to figure out their Castlevania franchise.
Yeah, the only thing, yeah, I know that's the biggest one, and Metal Gear. So, but anyway, but like it does concern me that Bluebird team is heading it. Like I appreciate their passion for all their projects and all that kind of stuff, but their track record hasn't been, the greatest
Did
standard.
you play the medium? So the medium was pretty decent.
Oh, I got bored. I got
it's-
too bored.
It's just not perfect, right? But I would hope that maybe having kind of some. Damn, you're right though, man. Like Konami, who's over there? I was gonna say.
That's the thing.
I was gonna
On
say.
this team.
And the weird thing is that like Konami doesn't even employ like developers anymore or something. They just hire out to like contractors, which is Bluebird team and the other teams for the other Silent Hill games.
Yeah, I just caught myself going like, maybe they're gonna have some guidance from who? Like, who is there to like guide these people? So it's literally like, here's a bunch of money, Bluebird team. We like what you do with the medium.
Yeah.
Silent
Well,
Hill.
they have 2. So they have the original musical director who made all the Silent Hill soundtracks up to 4, I believe, and then they have one of the original directors or game designers that's helping steer them, but they're not doing like the majority of the legwork going in here. But
No,
we'll see.
But the music was a big part of the Silent Hill game.
Yeah,
So if you don't got the right music.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like Silent Hill 4's soundtrack is actually very, very good if you ever go back and listen to it by Akira Yakaoma, something like that. And like I'm glad he's back. He also did the soundtrack for the medium, I believe, which was one of the standouts for that. And so they have some help.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see. If Sony is funding this thing because they want it a platform exclusive for like I think a year, then maybe it'll help out, and that's they'll have some sort of direction on what type of quality title they want this at. But when I saw the trailer for certain scenes, they tried to recreate certain scenes that were originally done in CGI, and they did it in engine for Unreal 5 for this trailer, and some of it looks pretty good. Like Pyramid Head looks pretty good, but then there's a scene where my dude, like the main guy, he looks in the mirror, and that was a big deal back in the day because. Yeah, because like you didn't see like that quality of CGI or graphics at the time, and like they kind of fucked up his face. So
man, he's butt ugly now. It's like going from Soul Calibur 3 to Soul Calibur 4.
Oh man, he ain't looking too hot right now. So they got some time, I believe. I don't think there was a date set in stone, so we'll see. We'll see what Bluebird team can do.
We'll wish him the best, right? The medium was fun enough. I thought you thought it was boring, which
I just think there was something else I was playing at the time that took on it.
And I didn't finish it.
Okay, there you go. That gives you something. That gives you some indication.
You tried.
You tried it. I was trying to review it, so I was like, when you're trying to review something, you're like, I'm gonna see it through. Except for Visage, Dalan, you got too scared. You got too scared.
Hey man, that was
a
spooky and very difficult game. Okay,
that's when
you had to know exactly what you were doing in order to beat that game.
You died a lot in that game. But anyways, did I miss something, Deo? That there wasn't a Silent Hill 1 remake, right? Why?
No.
Why go to 2? Do you feel like they're like, I'll just leave Silent 1, 2 there?
I have a theory about that. 2 is the most popular one out of all the Silent Hill titles, and it was probably the most successful one. And it's the one that, like, in the minds of a lot of nostalgic gamers or retro gamers from the PlayStation 2 era, like, you associate the Silent Hill series with PlayStation. So PlayStation was probably, we'll bankroll some of it. Yeah. If Konami, you supply the other funding or capital to make this thing happen, and we'll find some developer that's willing and able to do it. So
that's the only thing that can get Konami off of their pachinko machines, right? They're like, what? Sony, you're gonna give us some money? Okay, we'll do it. We'll work on
It's a good gamble for them.
Good gamble.
Actually, from my recollection, there was a contracting issue from with part 1, which is why they ended up changing the main character for part 2.
Okay.
So
that it?
yeah, it was just a whole contracting issue.
Be careful, man.
No.
Don't
I
just
say
believe him
this.
right away. Man. Don't just be cautious. Be
All right,
cautious.
fine.
He's not
Take
on the
it with
internet.
a grain of salt if you'd like. All right, but
big
but I
grain of
recall
salt.
that happening, and then when they decided to do the collection, they ended up skipping on 1 because of that original contract issue. They did the Silent Hill collection, and it only had 2, 3, and 4 in it. I was like, why didn't they put 1? And I went up and looked it up. So that was it.
Matthew, please help us. Matthew, if you're out there,
Matthew,
please
go ahead and look it up.
investigate.
Correct me. I don't mind, but I know that there was an issue as to the reason that they didn't put
Dalan,
part 1.
even
up
if
again.
you minded, man, I need this man to correct you. All right?
Even if
The
smoke.
next
Hit him with a smoke bomb.
So
Bam.
that's Silent Hill. I'm glad that I wish for the best, right? But we're kind of a little concerned. We'll see.
You're
We'll see what
skeptical.
happens. We're a
I
little
got you.
skeptical.
I'm a little more shaky on this compared to RE4.
Oh, RE4 is gonna be
remake,
nice,
so.
man.
Don't even worry
But-
about RE4. It's
yeah.
Capcom. They got the.
Well,
they've
and they've
got
proven
the
themselves.
coffers.
They've proven themselves with 2, 3, those remakes. So they've kind of proven themselves. The next thing we have on here, real quick, for Dale's got some thoughts on this one. There's a new Bayonetta 3 wrinkle. The actress that was kind of originally complaining or talking about it on the internet, Helena Taylor, who was the original voice actress of Bayonetta 1 and 2. I'm almost sure of that. She actually was offered up to $15,000, $4,000 for some lines, like to kind of make a cameo. So a lot of people, of course, on the internet was like, she didn't say the right amount. She didn't, so it's a little, I guess, weird, right? That she wasn't necessarily super upfront about it.
She didn't tell the whole truth.
She didn't tell the whole truth. And then, of course, it's up to you to kind of decide if, like, okay, that's still too little, that's still too much. But it kind of hurts your argument, right? That you didn't say the whole truth of it. But what are your thoughts here on this, Deo?
Yeah, the internet was quick to jump on the side of the victim, which is Helena in this case, because they know that historically, like, voice actors don't get paid that much for their work. So and I like to err on the side of caution when hearing some of these stories, because I don't know all the facts, and if it's from like some person's mouth, like directly onto Twitter, like I take it with a grain of salt, first of all, because I don't know what the other side of the story is.
But these have been
yet.
kind of confirmed, since last week that
Definitely.
we talked about. It's been gathered up.
Yes.
The Mr. Jason Schreier, I know your favorite person on the
My
internet,
favorite journalist.
has kind of confirmed. So, and not
My
him,
favorite
but other
garbage bag.
But okay, Dale, my bad. I just kind of wanted to say it's been kind
No,
of
go for it.
it's been kind of confirmed not only by him but different reputable people, right? But yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't want this whole story or Helena's decision to do this, like, to take away from the discussion that voice actors do not get paid as much as they really should be. I know she was getting an offer that was better than what, or is a lot more than what Platinum Games wanted to give her. But at the same time, it's just like the believability of it was really high in the beginning. So please believe some of the other voice actors out there that are relatively famous, that have a lot of work out there, that voice your very favorite characters out in like anime and video games. Like, they don't get paid as much as like the Jennifer Hales and all those other people.
And I think,
do. Troy Barkers.
I think the biggest thing is the fact that, like, no residuals, right? You would think, as like, hey, I'm part of this big character that you create, I would at least get residuals.
Right.
The other thing
If the Seinfeld cast could get, like, syndication stuff, and same thing with the Friends cast, like, why can't they?
I mean, they're the whole performance. So I don't know if I want to go the internet go up in flames, but but I will say that and on the internet they were talking about how they have conversations ongoing as far as the union for voice actors, and they might be extending it, because they already extended it once. Whatever the contract was, they extended it to 2020, I believe, and I think talks are coming back up, like, to kind of renegotiate. So we'll see if they kind of get another extension going, which is kind of the likelihood, right? So it kind of gives you, like, they don't have a lot of power, unfortunately, right?
No.
Let's hope things get better. The next thing on here, this one's kind of for Lisa. He has some thoughts on it, and we did talk about it last week. But Amaranth did say, she said, quote, "I'm free and seeking, quote, legal and emotional counsel," end quote. It's kind of basically what we talked about last week, that we found out she's married and her husband's kind of making her do all these streams and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of gross stuff, right? But she's free, right? So we're hope that she's kind of better and she does things out of her own accord, right? But Luis, what do you think, man, about kind of this recent wrinkle to the story?
Yeah, it's good because the thing I was mostly worried about was like, because you can definitely get in there and remove her from the situation or remove him from the situation, but the big sort of thing that he was holding over her was that he basically had control of all the accounts. So all the money that she was making, he sort of had control over, or rather, what he was saying was that he did. And she kind of didn't understand the whole like, okay, but it's my like the bank account is mine. Like you can't just go in there because we're married and like take my money. Yeah. So yeah, that's good to hear that she's basically sort of stabilized and she's on her own and she took a big break from socials and all that stuff and she's kind of seems like she's in a good spot. So just happy to hear that she's doing okay. That's it.
There you go. And the internet's the internet, right? So of course they have all kinds of weird commentary about everything, right? Like, so I think she took some recent pictures and like, what about this? Now it's like, well, I mean, you can be like harassed into doing things or whatever, and then you can do them at your own accord whenever you want to do them too, right? So it's very hard for people to hold two thoughts at the same time in their brains, I guess.
I can see that on your face, Carlos.
I'm mimicking them, Dalan. I can hold maybe like 1.5 thoughts in my head. I think I can do all right. Next thing, I just wanted to mention real quick, of course, that Sony is removing the expiration date on PlayStation Plus titles, which is kind of interesting. I don't know exactly what it means, but it basically was you used to be able to see like, okay, your access to this or when you can get it for free ends at this date, but apparently that's not there anymore. So I kind of want to see stories still developing, I suppose, right? It was just a quick mention on the internet, but it's kind of interesting that they would remove this game is available to this date. The other thing is, of course, it's an update as far as the Google Stadia platform. Rockstar is allowing people to kind of transfer, I think it's from Red Dead. I didn't put the name of the game on here, but I think it's from Red Dead Redemption, I'm assuming. But in order for that person, this is in the case of one player, for him to transfer over his character, they say that he's going to lose $1 million, 1.3K gold bars, 662 ranks, since he hadn't played within the last like 30 days that they decided to up and announce that we're going to shut down this system. But Dalan, what do you think, man, as far as the transfer or the fact that this man is losing some virtual coin? Or what do you think?
The fact that this guy is losing some virtual coin, and when I say some virtual coin, that's a lot of virtual coin. You're losing. Okay, so the 1 million, you probably earn that back by just playing for like, I don't know, an additional 15 days or something like that, or depending on what he does.
That's a lot of time, man.
But
that's a lot of time.
But
you get that in a few hours, dude.
But 662 ranks. I still can't even hit rank 85 on GTA 5.
So just to be clear, this is Red Dead Redemption 2 on Stadia.
Yeah, I figured because of the gold bars.
Red Dead
but
Redemption
still,
2 on Stadia.
I assume that the rank system is essentially the same when it comes to ranks. The more you do, the more rep you get, the more you rank up, or at least you get experience or something.
That's usually how levels work, yeah.
Yeah, but I can assume that. I will assume this. So the fact that it took me hours to grind out level 85, which I still haven't hit. Meanwhile, they're taking away 662 ranks. My God.
Okay,
I would stop playing that game.
Yeah, it's a little rough though, right? Because Rockstar's like, all right, look, hey, we're giving you guys everybody this option. This shit is shutting down. It's going away. But let's give you the power of transferring. But hold up. We're going to take some shit away, though, real quick. We're not going to get everything. There's a caveat. Luis, you kind of understand how the ranks are, how you just explained it to Dalan a little bit. What's the thing here? Is it really the ranks? Or?
So, yeah, I know. It's definitely the gold. That's the one you're kind of pissed off about.
Oh, okay.
So, in Red Dead, you can buy gold. I remember, I haven't played this game in so long, but I remember $20 got you like 15 gold bars, or maybe it was 20 gold bars, something like that.
1,300.
So it's one of two things: either he spent a hell of a lot of money getting all that gold, because you could also earn it in game by doing things. So let's say you did an activity. This is the Wild West, so you do something that gave you like $18 to $30. Of that, some activities would also give you gold, but it'd be like 0.1 gold. Like that's kind of how that works. So imagine if this dude grinded up 1.3 thousand gold, and they're just like, "Sorry, you didn't play in 30 days." So,
Sorry,
like,
man.
it's the one dude supporting your game on Stadia. Like the amount of time that this guy had to have played, just make an exception. Like you can totally do that by hand. There's not like any reason why they shouldn't do that. You know,
So
it's just messed
so
up.
these numbers being thrown around, this is huge, right? I mean, if you don't play the
Yeah.
game, you don't understand. But these are big numbers that they're like, nah, whatever. But you have your game, right? Like, I mean, that's something.
That's a lot of time and a lot of money.
There you go.
Period.
The next thing that a lot of people put a lot of time and money into was Overwatch. And of course, as we mentioned on the podcast here before, is that it no longer exists. You can no longer play that game. They kind of press the nuke button and it's gone. But retailers are still selling it out there. So what do you... I don't know. This is, I think, might be kind of like one of those oversight type of things, right? Like, they like say even a GameStop, they're supposed to know this shit, right? You would assume, but I would think that they just have all these games out there. They're not really considering, let's pull all the Overwatches out. I think it might be more of an oversight. Or is there something more here afoot, Dalan? Is there some maliciousness that they keep selling Overwatch copies?
Hey man, I don't think it's purposefully malicious in most cases. I don't know. You might walk into a swap meet and see people try to
meets
sell these
inherently
games
are evil, Dalan, is what you're saying?
They can be because they will overcharge you at a swap meet for sure on a lot of cases. Sometimes you might,
but
find
they
some
will
good deals.
also,
or
but they will also,
you might find Overwatch when the game's been shut down.
And also, they will give you that boot disc that you need for your Dreamcast burned copies for cheap. So they might help you
Like
out a
I
little
said,
bit as well.
Sometimes you might find a good deal. Sometimes you might find a game that don't work no more. I mean, that's when you're just gonna have to put in a display case.
Yeah.
I buy it for 30 cents. Why not?
Okay. All right. What do you think as far as this is concerned, Luis?
I think that a yard sale isn't like a GameStop or anything, but because at least at a GameStop you can, if they sell you something, a game like Overwatch, I'm assuming you're not going to sit on that one. Like you're going to play it within the time that you have the return option, right? So you'll go home, put the disc in, the servers are down, get a refund. But at the same time, it's like, you should know this stuff, dude. If you buy a game that doesn't work, that's kind of on you, right? Like, I don't kind of feel too bad for you there.
But
so
if you're selling a game doesn't work, that's malicious as hell.
But
I don't think they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
And if they are, like I said, someone puts the disc in, they just get a return. Like they get a refund. So
my stipulation, you are selling a game doesn't work. That's malicious.
If they know, Dalan, but maybe they
if
don't.
they know, yes.
I'm putting it in the sentence. Are you not hearing me? Is my mic on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you said stipulation like you're in the court case right now, right? So I don't know what you want us to do around
I put it in there.
All right. Well, look, shit's happening. Dalan's on one side of the camp. Lisa's on the more positive side of camp. All right. So that's just what's happening. The next thing that's not so positive, and I'm sorry about this, Dale, to kind of break this news to you, but will be no season 2 of Cyberpunk Edge Runners. The producer said it's a quote unquote standalone work. How are you feeling? And that means I don't have to watch it anymore, right? Is that what that means, Dale? Or I should still go?
No, you have to watch it.
Okay.
This is a really good.
You should still watch it.
You should still watch it. It's a really good video game property made anime.
It does have
so
an ending, right? It does have a. I watched.
that's the satisfying about it, about season 1. Like if they do make a season 2, if someone decides to do that,
Thanks,
bless you,
Dalan.
God bless. If someone definitely decides to do season 2, then they'd have to be a totally brand new cast and everything. They can't, or maybe they could use threads of the old cast, but they can't use all of them.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
So you're good with this decision, or do you feel like you were holding out
No,
for season 2?
No, I think for what the character arcs did in season 1, it was good enough. So I don't want them to do a whole Game of Thrones and make it the series
before and after.
three seasons longer than it has to be. So that's perfectly fine. It's short and sweet. Perfect.
So, but at least we got some finality, right? Also, I think we mentioned before the Shenmue season 2 is not getting one. That one was okay though. This one's probably way better than whatever Shenmue animation was happening. I watched it though. I sat there, so and took it. I guess this is okay. At least we got some finality, right? We got some. All right, we're not gonna get any more. Luis, what do you think, man? Have you gotten a chance to check it out, or not yet?
No, but hearing that it's only one season makes me want to get to it even sooner.
Oh,
so, Yeah, because it sucks that that doesn't happen often enough, where you just have something that's a nice little wrapped up little story. It's not super amazing, it's not great or whatever, or maybe it is, but just kind of leave it on its own and be able to kind of move on with something else. Though I feel like it could also just be a decision of like, dude, they're trying to get money back at this point, So I don't know if they want to immediately reinvest money that they
They're
just
being
made
logical.
on buy.
It's like, let's just hold off on
Totally,
that.
totally.
So it could be a little bit of that. Who knows? But
They're being
yeah, that's
reasonable,
cool.
right? They're like, we're on the uptick now. Do we want to push our luck? Yeah, I think we can still make it work on PS4. I feel like that's still a possibility, So maybe that's one of the things, right? Like if, they're like, but I don't know. We'll see, right? Because there's still more Cyberpunk. They said they're gonna work on it some more. Who knows? For now, it's standalone work, and it's good to hear that. At least for what Luis is saying. Dalan, you got some thoughts on it before we move on?
I do, and it's more so on the fact that they decided to just do a standalone season. That is actually what I appreciate about these types of shows, because there are animes out there like Bleach, probably a really great anime, but I couldn't finish it. Naruto,
One
definitely
Piece.
couldn't finish it. One Piece, can't finish it. But you give me a show that has a beginning, middle, and end, tell your story and move on, and then I'm good. So I loved Castlevania. They got 4 seasons done. They said we're not doing it
Those
anymore.
are 4
Okay,
seasons, though.
I'm
Damn,
fine
that's
with
not
that.
one season.
Yeah, but
that's more
but
than
you
one.
could you could see the end in sight. All right, you could see the end in sight. Fine, one season, which also came out on Netflix, and Netflix loves to just like say we're gonna draw people in and then just stop doing it because we need to do something else now. What was it? It was it's called Crybaby. I can't remember. Devilman Crybaby.
Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah, that was an excellent 1 season thing. Even though it was a rehash of some original shows called Devilman, it was still an excellent series of 10 episodes, told its story, and it was done. Watch it. It's excellent.
All right, there you go. Well, have you seen Cyberpunk yet, Dalan? Have you watched this animation?
I watched the first episode, and I definitely need to finish it.
All right, there you go. Next thing we have on here, this will be the last story for this week. Spider-Man 2 is still on course for a 2023 release and is, quote, making good progress, end quote, because I know people apparently were concerned. And Insomniac had to come out and be like, hey, whoa. It's coming out, man. Just shut up, all right? It's not it's not the Prince of Persia remake, all right? You know, Dalan. You know that's not coming out.
I hate you so much.
You were hopeful. It's on wax that you were looking very much.
Of course, I was looking forward to it. I want them to remake that game.
It's not gonna happen, Dalan. So
we know they announced it.
Stop butchering his dreams. Let him live.
I'm
there's
gonna
a possibility.
take this knife and I'm gonna twist it slowly. Let me twist it again for you.
Hey, but if it comes out, you can just turn back time and twist that knife the other way.
There you go. But like at least what they could have done was right. Like it's like, all right, Dylan, we're not working on Prince of Persia. It's a Prince of Persia remake. It's a standalone work. No, they said we are putting it off indefinitely. So they're like,
indefinitely.
They're dangling it in front of you. It's like maybe at some point, buy enough Assassin's Creed, and we'll consider it.
Kind of like the second Jake Gyllenhaal movie, right?
Ooh, that's rough.
Ooh.
That's rough. So Spider-Man 2 is on course 2023. I'm super hyped, man. Miles Morales was incredible. The original was good too. Dale, what do you think, man? Spider-Man 2, huh? Still making good progress. Were you in doubt? It is Insomniac.
No.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good, man. They're pretty good.
Insomniac's like I don't know what their dev team is doing, but like they've been on fire the last 3 games that they've had. So I'm not too worried. I'm not even worried that if it doesn't make 2023, if it gets pushed back to 2024, I'm fine with that. Let them have as much time as possible to polish the Spider-Man 2 game. It's going to be freaking phenomenal if they do get it right. So it's I don't know why everyone was so scared about that. I think it's kind of ridiculous.
And I mean,
we need a frictionless Spider-Man.
I was gonna say it's gonna be frictionless. Whatever it is, it's gonna be frictionless. If anything, Insomniac is frictionless game. Luis, what do you think, man? Well, you weren't concerned, right? That we're getting this
I was not concerned, but it's good to hear that they are. So I guess now, based off of these Microsoft leaks, we know that they're going to release 2 games in the same year, right? Is that what that is? Wolverine and Spider-Man, or was Wolverine 24? Yeah, Wolverine
Yes.
was Insomniac.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm hyped, man. Anything inside,
And
give it to me.
for a moment there, I was kind of worried, like, oh damn, they're working on two games that are coming out at the same time. But they did that with Ratchet and Clank and Miles Morales, like that was kind of back to back. So whatever
Yeah.
they're doing seems to be working because they're, hit after hit right now, and it doesn't seem like they're gonna slow down. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're gonna do with these two.
There you go. And with that, we'll move on to what you've been playing. I kind of should have done Luis first and then Deo. But Luis, have you been playing anything the last week, man? Anything?
Just trophy cleanup on The Last of Us right now.
Just trophy cleanup.
Yeah. Now, last week you said you might have been moving on, or no? Did you were like, you know what? Whatever.
No, I said I was blazing through the story. Going through the story rather than focusing on trophies because it was taken away from me, like sort of experiencing the story again.
Okay,
yeah, and now that I beat the story, I'm going back and just kind of speed running through it and getting the trophies. And I will say, this is the first game I'm kind of liking these sort of like PlayStation cards. I did use them on Ghost of Tsushima to clean up that one when you can like stick a card to the side of the screen and like track a trophy.
Yeah.
But with this one, they show you how to do everything. You just basically have to look at the collectible card for each level, and it just shows you exactly what you missed and where to get it. Like everything has a video, everything has a like thing of how to get it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so you don't gotta go to
strat.
YouTube no more.
Interesting.
no, it's all on your PlayStation. Like even if it goes find this collectible, and then you click on it, and there's a video of like Joel kind of walking
This is
through a
where it
level of
goes.
like pick it up here. You're like, okay, perfect. I know exactly
Yeah,
where to
Let
look.
me go do it.
Yeah, I think I've messed with that a little bit a couple times, but for whatever reason, I just can't get over the fact that it just kind of makes your screen, it squooshes
Yeah.
your screen a little bit, right? But it is a nice option. It's good to hear that it actually kind of works, right? The story's better than you remember, right? I mean, not that you forgot, but
No, I mean it's not. It wasn't better or worse. It was just the same story. I kind of remembered. It was better in the way that like things like minor facial expressions and eyes specifically looked a lot better and like translated that sort of feeling a lot better. But no, it's still pretty good.
so good.
Did
man.
the first chapter still tug at the strings for you?
Yep, every single time.
It tugged at my strings for sure.
Also, pacing was beautiful in that game. Part 2.
Mhm.
Part 2.
Well, all right, come on.
We can talk about that later.
Hey, man,
Dale,
we're never gonna get video
Actually,
game guides back. Again.
Dale,
I need a physical game.
Dale,
Yeah,
Dale, I don't know if you know, man, but I think we had like a big conversation about like the pacing of Last of Us Part 2 and all this other stuff. Lost, dude. Lost to space. That we thought we recorded it or something. It was
gone?
crazy. Yeah,
No,
dude.
Carlos and I recorded our track, and Dalan did not. And he was going back there that next morning or day, and he was kind of live re-recording his shit.
Oh,
So
that
he
was
had-
the
oh
worst
my God.
episode
He was like, I'm gonna
man.
record whatever I thought I would have said.
I couldn't. I just could not.
He didn't make it through.
Damn.
I do have it. It's in a little folder on my desktop, the lost episode, and it's our two little clips, dude.
With us pausing to hear what Dalan had to say, and he has a lot to say, man. So it's a lot of it's kind of rough. I have a lot of things to say as well. Deo, what do you anything, man? Anything big you play in the last week? I know you got rid of the body in the background, so
It's still there, still on that wall. No, I finished this morning Deathloop at 4 a.m. this morning, and because I really wanted to finish it. Like I was able to get all the information to kill all the visionaries and everything, and then it gave me like the last quest line, and I was like, oh, okay, now I have to put it all together. But I was so exhausted. And I was like, okay, I'm powered enough to do this. I think I could power through. And then I just drank some orange juice, and it's like went at it. I
That's
killed
the
all
secret
7
sauce.
of them.
That's the secret sauce right there. Like, let me grab some orange juice real quick. I'm up. I'm up now.
I'm up. Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of been your thing, Deathloop, huh? I'm glad you guys had
Yeah,
fun with
yeah.
it.
I like Deathloop, man. I don't know why people are hating on that thing. I mean, it's not the deepest
Just
like
one
arcade
person.
game, but it's really good. I
Just
think.
one person.
It did
Don't say why people.
Oh, right.
You know.
I don't know why a certain person in the upper right corner of this cast.
I just don't want to go to see what's going on at breakfast and then at lunch and then go back at dinner time.
It's not even like that though. It's the most linear like arcane game
It
and
really
the easiest
is.
one to get into. They
It's
show
the
you
least
everything.
arcane game of all
It
arcade
kinda
games
is.
that you've ever arcaned.
Yeah.
that ever
so-
arcane. The least arcane ass game that ever arcaned. You know what? Yeah, maybe at some point I'll kind of
Just
Hey
listen
man,
to the
you got the
just listen to
push
the
for
music.
cream.
It's
Just
good.
do it.
I'll
Just
retinker.
do
I'll
it.
retinker.
Yeah.
All right, I will retinker with that game at some point. Well, like I had mentioned earlier, Modern Warfare 2. But besides that, also Bayonetta 1. I did play Bayonetta 1. I keep playing it. I got to get back to it. I don't know if I'm gonna meet my
Finish that game.
my self-imposed deadline of, because Bayonetta 3's coming out like on Friday, right? Thursday or Friday or something
This
like
week. Yeah, this week.
that. And I'm like halfway through 1, so I still gotta play 2. And these are kind of challenging games. You gotta put them down. Your hands start hurting. Maybe because I'm an old man now, but your fingers start hurting and you gotta put it down. But Bayonetta 1 it's fun, man. I like it. So we'll see. But yeah, as far as like I had mentioned earlier on the podcast, is that Modern Warfare 2 campaign, I did solve that game tape. I don't want to say too many spoilers, of course, besides your globetrotting as per usual. But one of the main things that I noticed for this one compared to the last couple of years is that every level kind of breathes, right? Like if you guys played the last couple games, Cold War and was it Cold War, and then the World War II one? It's kind of
Vanguard?
like Vanguard. You're kind of like going like, here, you're dropping into this mission. Okay, like this is like a disparate, completely like, where am I now? This one
It's
actually
like, why
follows,
is this part of the story at all?
this one actually like follows a thread. And it actually follows like, okay, like you're breathing in a level. You're not just like, all right, you're here, shoot around for 5-6 minutes, and then move on to the next completely different area. This one actually has a complete thread. It's pretty nice. I know people are kind of hating on the story a little bit, but
I got a question.
Yeah,
Is the story and the characters different from the OG Modern Warfare 2? Is
I gotta
follow
say these games are very.
I don't remember playing in Mexico back in the day.
No, I think that's kind of one of the coolest things about this, right? For an industry that's like, let's be inclusive and blah blah. Half of this game is like in Spanish, man. You're like listening to and they're subtitled, right? So you can understand. But half of these characters, they're having fun with their lines, right? Especially one of the female characters. I won't say if she's good or bad, but if there's a female character in it, oh, she's having a blast, dude. Like just pronouncing the Spanish, like just getting super into it. If you understand Spanish, you'll have a lot of fun with it. Their Spanish is beautiful, and yeah, they're in Mexico and different parts of the world, right? But it's one of those things that, and then they bring Soap back, Price is back, right? All the classic characters, but I think for the most part, it's kind of a completely like new story, right? It's just kind of they kind of have similar threads and similar characteristics, but I had a lot of fun with it. It does have like the typical bottleneck points. I know if you guys have played shooters or whatever before, it's like it seems like it's more open than you think it is, but it's kind of not. They kind of really want you to like, all right, look, this is the corridor and you got to shoot this guy first and then that guy, right? But there's moments where like the levels are bigger than you think they are. And it was like, oh, damn, this level's got an ass to it, man. I actually can go, like, around this area, and, like, it's kind of a big, like, blocked-off area where you can actually kind of play around, and it's a nice little playground to it. And it plays beautifully, of course, as all Call of Duty games do. And, I had fun with it. And like I said, it's like I said earlier, it's about a 7-8 hour experience. Go ahead and play that. And I think they kind of gave us, this is the first time I think they gave us kind of, pre-launch access or whatever. I think they were that confident in the story that they were like, give it to the fans, man. And this also, like Lisa's mentioned before, this means I beat the campaign. I'm ready to go day one in multiplayer, man. Because before, we would get the game and I'd be like, I got to beat the campaign first, before I even jump in. That's me. I know a lot of Call of Duty players. I don't know about you, Deo, or, shooting games that you played. You go right into multiplayer or you hit the campaign. For me, it's always like, nah, forget you guys. I'm going into the campaign. I'll see you in a couple of days. What about you? Do you go into the campaign or the multiplayer when you in a shooter or competitive type of game? I suppose.
I try to do it in parallel. I try to anyway. But like, there's so many different like when it comes to multiplayer, when you find like the strats that work or the the technique or whatever that you need to get down for like Halo Infinite, for instance, like there was like a few things you needed to learn how to like slide around the map and everything. And I'm sure that's going to be something that's in Call of Duty since they introduced that dolphin diving
The
thing.
little dolphin dive action.
The dolphin dive. So like people are trying to figure all that stuff out before everyone else, so they get the advantage, right? But like I like the pacing of campaign modes and all this other stuff too. So I don't want to get behind. And sometimes developers like, they update the multiplayer stuff a lot of the times, and they nerf certain guns or they try to change a map or something on you. So sometimes the knowledge just get lost, but overall, I kind of like I'm doing a balance of both.
Yeah, I like, you know, whoever's sitting maybe on the fence of like, should I grab it early for the campaign? We only have a couple more days left though. At this point, it's like if you can get it cheap, right? Get it cheap, which is kind of what I would do normally. Is kind of GameFly it, buy it at a discount, that kind of thing. But I was at 90-something%, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing it, and I don't regret it. It's a very fun campaign.
Which version did you get? Did you get like the highest tier version, or the regular vanilla version?
Yeah, vanilla. What gets me to the campaign basically. So they got me, and I'm sure they got other people, right, with that. I'm sure it's a smaller section, right, of the gaming population. I think most people, maybe like 75-80% of the people that pick up a Call of Duty are like, I'm jumping into that multiplayer. What is a campaign? Like, they're probably like, what is a campaign, right? But I definitely had fun with it. I'm going to go back and get some of the trophies. A lot of the trophies are, like, one of them, the main big one is kind of like just beat the campaign in any difficulty. But I think a lot of the other trophies, kind of looking around at them, are like, do things in a certain interesting way that you wouldn't think of doing them. So those are kind of some of my favorite trophies, because it's not collectibles. It's more like, do this. Did you try doing that? And I was like, no, I did not. I'm gonna try that now. That's it for me this week though, Dalan. But what do you got, man? What do you we missed you for a couple weeks here.
Hey, you missed me for a couple of weeks. So, but because of my my extra work that I've been doing, I haven't had as much time to play video games. However, I did at some point make the time, and I can't remember if I had brought it up, so I'm just going to quickly touch base on the fact that I did beat NieR Replicant, whatever 2.137, whatever the freaking digit is, because I know you love talking about it.
10 times. No, I don't.
Pi.
But,
but the game is fun. That's what I gotta say. The game is fun. You could play through it just one time and be good. Though they give you the option to go for the extra endings. I know that we were in a chat group recently. Somebody said NieR Automata has 26 different endings. You do not need all those 26 different endings. One of them is just poisoning yourself and dying, and you get to see the credits roll.
Okay,
that's
spoilers.
it. That's it. but those 26 different endings is like little things you could do to end the game.
Hey, Dalan, I hope you realize you're leaving out a crucial part in this, but the Google search was does NieR Automata ever end? That's what the thing was. And then it's like, no, it has 28 different endings.
But
NieR Replicant isn't as gruesome as that, right, Dalan?
It is not as gruesome as that. Yeah. You got 5 endings if you want to get all of them, but you only need the first one.
That's four too many, Dalan. 4 too many endings.
No. They're alternative endings. That's what they are. So the very first ending, it's an okay ending. But if you want like the 100% ending or the alternative endings that come with getting all the weapons, whatever it is, you're welcome to do those. But you don't have to.
Dalan, spoiler alert. I don't want to do any of those alternatives.
It's not a spoiler alert. We know you, Carlos. We understand.
That's not a spoiler alert. What else?
However, it comes with a trophy, and I know how much you love trophies, and it's actually a pretty easy thing to get. Now, the other thing I've been doing, we'll move on from NieR Replicant, because I know you just want to talk crap about it the whole time, is...
Because I know you only give me the space to talk shit about it every single time.
That's basically what that is. But this past week, I had been playing Destiny 2 simply because the Vault of Glass, the raid, has been the raid of the week. And you could kill the last boss as many times as you want, with the chance to get the Vex Mytho class gun. And I had my 3 characters, so on one of them, I had my checkpoint on my Titan, and I just kept going to my Warlock. Yeah, I checkpointed it, and I kept just throwing groups together. I beat Atheon 44 times in the past week before my Vex Mytho class dropped.
You're out of control, man.
But no. But the great thing about it is that we were one phasing Atheon. We would kill ourselves. I would kill the oracles. We'd come out, damage phase. All right, reset. Took us like 5 minutes each.
That's nice. But you gotta get a group. So for people that don't know, right? Like every character can hold a checkpoint, right, to the very end of the boss or whatever. So, and these raids are a couple hours long, right? So the fact that you can kind of cheese it that way, to like, here's the checkpoint, and we can one phase, meaning you beat them very quickly, I guess a quick way to explain it. Very quickly, and that usually might take like 20-25 minutes to down these bosses. The fact that you could do it in 5 minutes is kind of incredible. But 44 times, and you're wilding out, man. No wonder you'll take all these endings, man. You want everything.
Hey, nah, somebody was telling me it took them 92 tries before he got the Vex. I was like, man, if it was gonna take me that long, I would be doing it on another week. I would definitely.
It took you half as long, man, and that's pretty bad. That's just as
twice
bad.
as bright.
Twice as bright. Hey, what is it? The something.
Half as long, twice as bright.
There you go. That's sort of.
Hey, man, I'm just glad that I finally got it. Got my I got my catalyst for it, and so I got a fully powered Vex Mytho class, and I'm ready to go.
What else?
So I'm ready to take you guys, babysit you guys through this raid, because I had to teach a couple of people how to freaking do it.
I don't think I think last time we tried it, it was me, you, Luis, and Jeremy was pretty good at it. He was fine, but the other two knuckleheads you had on, Dalan, they were wilding out. All right.
No. Jet was in there with me, and he's beaten the raid a couple of times now. He could also do it now, so we're good on that. But whenever you're ready. In the meantime, I had gameflied Shin Megami Tensei 5. I know I had brought that up at some point, and that game straight up is Nocturne 2.0. And it's a good enough game that my wife Nicole likes it, so I actually ended up purchasing the game. So now I'm waiting for Gotham Knights to come in my mailbox. But Shin Megami
you're not
is
hyped at all about, apparently. You're very much
not as hyped anymore. I've lost the mojo for that. But as for Shin Megami, though, it's good enough where I'm like, man, what was it, Atlas? They do not care whether or not you like a turn-based RPG or not. They're gonna do what they do, and they did it to the best of their ability, and it turned out to be an excellent game. If you want a good turn-based monster like Pokemon type game, do this.
Look, I know you got Luis maybe a little bit with this, a Pokemon type game at the end, but I gotta be honest with you. The last minute or so, the last minute or so,
you heard turn based. You were like, nope, shut down.
No. I heard a lot of things that you said, and I did not understand any of it. Dalan, I gotta be like, oh shit.
Wait, what do you mean you didn't understand?
We don't need to go over it, Dalan. What else have you been playing?
I can tell you're not a fan of Atlas. All right.
I mean, they do but they're niche. They're niche. Like even you just said Nocturne 2, like you're like it's a big thing. It's like, yeah, maybe it is a big thing in Atlas.
Look, let me take the one step back. Is that everybody's still trying to compare this game to Persona 5. Okay. You cannot compare this game to Persona 5, even though they're the same company and they make the same exact games. Tensei is its own thing, and it's enjoyable. You would probably enjoy it if you actually took the time. Now, moving on from that, I did also Gamefly Steel Rising, which is basically it's a steampunk thing in, I want to say, France. I'm pretty sure it's France, wherever the heck the revolution took place. The French Revolution.
That's a lot of revolutions that happened.
The French Revolution, during the French Revolution. Man, they really messed up history. I'll tell you that, because it was hard for me to get past the whole we're going to screw up history part. We're going to take away all the French guards and replace them with robots. I'm like, I don't like that.
Is that hell? You were playing by yourself and that's you shook your head, Dalan?
It's quite an imagination.
But it's one of those, it's a suspension of disbelief. And as I'm watching the opening of this game, I'm like, I can't.
Now, hold on. So, Steel Rising.
I can't put it together.
Did it just come out? Who's the developer? Why did you think of this to grab this game?
It came out earlier this month, and I actually had been waiting for it for a couple of months because they made the trailer look good. And I was thinking it was going to be more like NieR Automata or NieR Replicant. It is not. It is actually more like Dark Souls than anything. Yeah, okay. Literally, you kill things, you get souls from it. If you die on a boss, your souls drop. You have to go back and get them. It's actually spoiler on that part.
No, spoiler alert. Everything is like Demon Soul, dude. Everything's a fucking roguelike, man. You should not be surprised that this game is a straight up fucking roguelike yet again. All right.
But quite honestly, it might be challenging. I'm not going to say it's difficult. It's challenging, but it's at a level where it's actually doable. So I'm down to actually go through this game. It actually seems
now
pretty
based
fun,
on your first impression of I don't like that. You're not keeping this game.
It's just the history aspect of it. If I could blow through this game and just beat it, yeah, I'll send it back. But if it turns out to be a larger game than I thought, I might end up buying it. I'm like on the fence.
No
right
wonder
now.
You needed a second job, man. You're just buying shit left and right. That's what's happening around
here. No. I'm buying them with my GameFly discount. I bought Shin Megami.
Where's our sponsorship?
Where's our sponsorship? I bought Shin Megami for $7. Okay, I am not worried about $7, but I am worried about my $300 car payment. So
why don't you just give us your whole life story here, Dalan? Like, just put it on wax, man. You know I don't do any editing.
I'll tell you right. I'll write my biography. You can go on Discord and read it. So.
Dalan, you as per usual are out of fucking control, man. But thank you for joining. But thank you for joining us again, sir. Dalan Kirkwood from Mountain. Dalan, when can we expect you next? Do you know? Do you know your schedule that far out? I suppose.
I don't know. You're the journalist. What about you, Mr. Daily Planet?
Yeah, how am I supposed to know? I'm asking you. This is what the journalist
do. Your job. Do the groundwork, sir.
The groundwork and the job.
That's what a journalist would do.
When are you coming back? When are you coming back?
I ask you. Actually, it turns out that I might be off next Monday as well. Okay. So I think I'm gonna be on the next episode.
All right, you get your participation percentage. That might much higher. Dale Bloss,
I get another notch in my belt.
If you want, I mean, if that's gonna make you happy, I mean, we could do that. Dale Bloss, the king of the mid bay. Thank you for joining us, sir, on this here fine program.
Of course, I love hearing Dalan talk.
He's just,
about what he's been playing.
Don't encourage him, man. But thank you, Dale, for joining us.
I'll see you next Monday.
See you next Monday. Luis Mendes on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Yeah, we made it.
We did make it. Look at Dalen's desk. The Fezio gang, huh? I'm Carlos Macias. See you guys later. Master of what, Dalan? What was
Master of the Daily Planet, sir.
Did you see what your man's said last week? Jet was like, before Carlos can be a master of anything, he has to know what an egg timer is. I'm like, Jet, settle down.
Yeah, Jet wilds out sometimes. He's got to settle down.
He's out of control, but Jet, we welcome your comments.
Keep it coming.
Right, latest.